The PMI Guide to Business Analysis Glossary. 2. Common acronyms. BA. Business Analyst. BRD. Business Requirements Document. BDD. Behavior-Driven Development. BPMN. Business Process Modeling Notation. CCB. Change Control Board. CMS. Configuration Management System. CRUD. Create, Read, Update, Delete. Deep. Detailed appropriately, estimated, emergent, and prioritized DevOps development and operations. DITL Day in the Life Testing. DOD. Definition of done. IFS. Enterprise Environmental Factors. ERD. Entity Relationship Diagram. IRR.Internal Rate of Return. Invest. Independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, and testable. KPI. Key Performance Indicator. MMF. Minimum Marketable Features. MVP. Minimum Viable Product. MoS CoW. Must-haves, should-haves, could-haves, and won't-haves. NPV. Net Present Value. OD.Slash, CM. Organizational Development, Change Management. OPAs. Organizational Process Assets. PBP. Payback Period. PM. Project Manager. PMBOK. Project Management Body of Knowledge. QA. Quality Assurance. QC Quality Control RASI. Responsible, accountable, consult, and inform. ROI. Return on Investment. RML. Requirements Modeling Language. SME. Subject Matter Expert. SWOT. Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. SysML. System Modeling Language. UI. User Interface UML Unified Modeling Language. VCS. Version Control System. WBS. Work Breakdown Structure. WIP. Work in Progress. WSJF. Weighted Shortest Jobs First. Acceptance Criteria. A set of conditions that is required to be met before deliverables are accepted. In business analysis, acceptance criteria are built to evaluate the product requirements and solution. Active listening. The act of listening completely with all senses so as to pick up all of the information that is being communicated. Active listening entails paraphrasing or reciting back what is heard to ensure accurate understanding of what has been stated. Activity. A distinct, scheduled portion of work performed during the course of a project. Activity diagram. A type of process model that visually shows the complex flow of use cases. Activity diagrams are similar to process flows in syntax, however they commonly show user and system interactions in one diagram and mirror the textual description of use cases. See also process flow. Actor. People or other systems that interact with a solution. Actual acceptance result. Contains the pass, fail results from comparing test results against the acceptance criteria. Adaptability. The skill of being flexible and willing to adjust how one performs work or goes about approaching a situation as change and new information is encountered. Adaptive life cycle. A project life cycle that is iterative and incremental. Affinity diagram. A technique that allows large numbers of ideas to be classified into groups for review and analysis. Agile approach. An example of an adaptive project life cycle. Analogous estimation. A technique for estimating the duration or cost of an activity or portfolio component, program, or project using historical data from an item having similar characteristics. Analysis. The process of examining, breaking down, and synthesizing information to further understand, complete, and improve it. Analysis approach. Describes how analysis will be performed, how to verify, validate, and prioritize requirements and other product information, how risks will be identified and analyzed, how design options will be assessed, and what techniques and templates are expected to be used to perform analysis. Analysis knowledge area. Includes the processes for examining, breaking down, synthesizing, and clarifying information to further understand it, complete it, and improve it. Analysis model. A visual representation of product information. See also product information. Analytical resource. A person on the product team who performs business analysis. Analytical skills. A set of skills in business analysis that are used to process information of various types and at various levels of detail for the purpose of determining the relevant information from the irrelevant, drawing conclusions, building models, formulating decisions, and specifying requirements. Approved requirement. A requirement that is verified and validated and has been deemed an accurate reflection of what the product development team should build. Architecture. A method to describe an organization by mapping its essential characteristics, such as people, locations, processes, applications, data, and technology. As-built documentation. Analysis and design documentation that has been updated to correspond to a released product. Assemble business case. The process of synthesizing well-researched and analyzed information to support the selection of the best portfolio components, programs, or projects to address the business goals and objectives. Assess business analysis performance. The process of considering the effectiveness of the business analysis practices in use across the organization, typically in the context of considering the ongoing deliverables and results of a portfolio component, program, or project. Assess current state. The process of examining the current environment under analysis to understand important factors that are internal or external to the organization, which may be the cause or reason for a problem or opportunity. Assess product design options. The process of identifying, analyzing, and comparing solution design options based on the business goals and objectives, expected costs of implementation, feasibility, and associated risks, and using the results of this assessment to provide recommendations regarding the design options presented. Assessment of business value. The result of comparing expected business value for a solution against actual value that has been realized. Assumption. A factor that is considered to be true, real, or certain, without proof or demonstration. Autocratic decision-making. An approach for making decisions where one individual makes the decision for the group. Automated regression testing. Tool-supported validation used after changes are made to a software system to ensure those changes did not unintentionally alter the system in some other way. Backbone. A foundational part of a story map representing the minimum set of capabilities that absolutely are required to be in the first release for the solution to serve its purpose. That set of capabilities or user stories is sometimes called the minimum viable product. See also story mapping. Backlog. A listing of product requirements and deliverables to be completed, often written as user stories, and prioritized by the business to manage and organize the project's work. Backlog management. See backlog refinement. Backlog refinement. A process used on agile projects where the product team works with the product owner to gain more in-depth understanding about the user stories in the backlog list. The portion of the backlog which is refined at any point in time is typically considered ready to use as an input for sprint planning meetings, which are used to determine which user stories to cover in the next iteration. Backsliding. A circumstance in a burn-down chart where the remaining quantity of what is being tracked increases over time. Backward traceability. A technique that establishes the relationship of a requirement to the scope, business goals, or business objectives from which it originated. Baseline. The approved version of a work product that can be changed only through formal change control procedures and is used as a basis for comparison to actual results. Behavior-driven development, BDD. An approach that suggests the team begins with understanding how the user will use a product, its behavior, writes tests for that behavior, and then constructs solutions against the tests. Benchmarking. The comparison of actual or planned practices, such as processes and operations, to those of comparable organizations to identify best practices, generate ideas for improvement, and provide a basis for measuring performance. Benefit. The gains and assets realized by the organization and other stakeholders as the result of outcomes delivered by the solution. Bottom-up estimating. A method of estimating duration or cost by aggregating the estimates of the lower-level components. Brainstorming. In business analysis, brainstorming is an elicitation technique that is performed in a group setting and led by a facilitator to engage stakeholders to quickly identify a list of ideas for a specific topic in a relatively short time period. Burn-down chart. A graphical representation that counts the remaining quantity of some trackable aspect over time. Burn-down charts that track the number of remaining backlog items are used on projects using an adaptive life cycle. Business. In business analysis, the area of an organization that is experiencing a problem or possessing an opportunity along with the desire and interest in and willingness to sponsor changes to address the need. Business acumen. The skill of applying business and industry knowledge with decision-making capabilities to make sound decisions. Business analysis. The set of activities performed to support delivery of solutions that align to business objectives and provide continuous value to the organization. Business analysis approach. A description of how business analysis processes will be conducted for a portfolio component, program, or project. When following a formal delivery process, the business analysis approaches from each knowledge area are included in the business analysis plan. See Business Analysis Plan. Business Analysis Center of Excellence. An organizational structure created whereby business analysts are managed centrally or are provided mentorship centrally for the purpose of improving the business analysis discipline across the organization. Also called a Center of Business Analysis Practice. Business Analysis Deliverables. Any unique and verifiable result, produced throughout the course of performing business analysis activities, which is provided to team members and stakeholders to perform future work, decision-making, or complete a process, phase, or initiative. Business analysis documentation. The set of business analysis information produced as an output of the business analysis work conducted on a portfolio, program, or project. Such output may be comprised of business analysis deliverables, business analysis work products, or a combination thereof. Business analysis methodology. A system of practices, techniques, tools, procedures, and rules used by those who work in the business analysis discipline. Business analysis organizational standard. Part of organizational process assets, these standards may include expectations for how business analysis is conducted and which tools are used to support business analysis efforts. Business analysis performance assessment. An evaluation of what has been learned about the effectiveness of the business analysis processes and of the business analysis techniques that have been used. Business analysis performance metrics. A qualitative or quantitative measure of or inference about the effectiveness of business analysis practices. Business analysis plan. A summary of the choices and process decisions made in the business analysis approaches, including the identification of the business analysis tasks that will be performed, the deliverables that will be produced, and the roles required to perform the work. Business analysis tailoring. The need to adjust which business analysis activities should be performed for projects of varying characteristics. Business analyst, BA. Any resource who is performing the work of business analysis. Business architecture. A collection of the business functions, organizational structures, and locations, and processes of an organization, including documents and depictions of those elements. It is usually a subset of the enterprise architecture and is extended with the applications, information, and supporting technology to form a complete blueprint of an organization. Business architecture technique. An organizational framework available to model business architecture, providing different approaches for analyzing various aspects of the business. Business capability analysis. A technique used to analyze performance in terms of processes, people skills, and other resources used by an organization to perform its work. Historical data obtained from analyzing current capabilities are used to understand trends and determine what measures will be helpful guidelines for determining whether a capability is performing as it should be in the current state. Business case. A documented economic feasibility study used to establish validity of the benefits to be delivered by a portfolio component, program, or project. Business data diagram. See entity relationship diagram. Business data object. For business analysis, a business data object is a grouping of facts that together describe a person, place, thing, or concept of interest to a business. The term business data object is sometimes used interchangeably with business entity. It can also refer to the physical data storage of such groupings. Business goal. A broad-based translation of a corporate goal into what the business specifically is seeking to achieve. Business goals should align to the organizational goals. Business need. The impetus for a change in an organization based on an existing problem or opportunity. The business need provides the rationale for initiating a portfolio component, program, or project. Business objective. Measurable representation of the goals the business is seeking to achieve. Business objectives are specific and should align to the organizational objectives. Business objectives model. A business analysis model that relates the business problems, business objectives, and top-level features. Business requirement. A requirement that describes a higher-level need of the organization, such as a business issue or opportunity, the rationale for why an initiative is being undertaken, and a measurable representation of a goal the business is seeking to achieve. Business rule. A constraint about how the organization wants to operate. These constraints are usually enforced by data and/or processes and are under the jurisdiction of the business. Business Rules Catalog. A business analysis model that details all of the business rules and their related attributes. Business Value. The net quantifiable benefit derived from a business endeavor. The benefit may be tangible, intangible, or both. In business analysis, business value is considered the return, in the form of time, money, goods, or intangibles for something exchanged. Where feature. A type of collaborative game used to enable a group of stakeholders to agree on prioritization by giving each stakeholder an amount of pretend money to buy their choice of features, splitting the money received across features however desired. Capability. The ability to add value or achieve objectives in an organization through a function, process, service, or other proficiency. Capability Framework. A collection of an organization's capabilities, organized into manageable pieces, similar to business architecture. Capability Table. A table that displays the capabilities needed to solve a problem or seize an opportunity. This tool can show the relationship between a situation, its root causes, and the capabilities needed to address the situation. Cardinality. An indication of the quantity of one business data object which is associated with a related business data object. Current usage of the term also includes whether the relationship between the two objects is required or optional. Cause and effect diagram. A decomposition technique that helps trace an undesirable effect back to its root cause. Change agent. A person who acts as a catalyst for organizational innovation, possessing the vision to recognize where and when a change is needed and influencing to bring the change to fruition. Change control. A process whereby modifications to documents, deliverables, or baselines associated with the project are identified, documented, approved, or rejected. Change Control Board, CCB. A formally chartered group responsible for reviewing, evaluating, approving, delaying, or rejecting changes to the project, and for recording and communicating such decisions. Change control tools. Manual or automated tools to assist with change and/or configuration management. At a minimum, the tools should support the activities of the Change Control Board, CCB. Change request. A formal proposal to modify a document, deliverable, or baseline. Charter. See Portfolio Charter, Program Charter, or Project Charter. Collaborative games. A collection of elicitation techniques that foster collaboration, innovation, and creativity to achieve the goal of the elicitation activity. Communication and collaboration tool. A category of tools used in business analysis to effectively work with stakeholders and share and manage information. Communication skills. A collection of skills in business analysis utilized to provide, receive, or elicit information from various sources. Communications management plan. A component of the project, program, or portfolio management plan that describes how, when, and by whom information about the project will be administered and disseminated. Communication tailoring. Selecting the appropriate method and style of communication to use in a given situation based on factors such as audience, role, internal versus external, individual versus group, etc., and available communication methods, email, phone, instant message, teleconference, in-person meeting, etc. Competitive analysis. A technique for obtaining and analyzing information about an organization's external environment. Compliance standard. See regulatory standard. Conduct business analysis planning. The process performed to obtain shared agreement regarding the business analysis activities the team will be performing and the assignment of roles, responsibilities, and skill sets for the tasks required to successfully complete the business analysis work. Conceptual and detailed thinking. The ability to move between analyzing at a high-level view of a problem space and a specific detail or set of details that comprise one aspect of the problem space. Conduct elicitation. The process of applying various elicitation techniques to draw out information from stakeholders and other sources. Conduct stakeholder analysis. The process of researching and analyzing quantitative and qualitative information about the individuals, groups, or organizations that may impact, are impacted, or are perceived to be impacted by the area under assessment. Configuration management. A collection of formal documented processes, templates, and documentation used to apply governance to changes to the solution, or subcomponent being developed. Configuration management standard. The criteria established for what constitutes compliance with configuration management procedures and their associated systems and tools. Configuration Management System, CMS. A collection of procedures used to track artifacts and monitor and control changes to these artifacts. Confirm elicitation results. The process of performing follow-up activities on the elicitation results, determining an appropriate level of formality to use, reviewing with stakeholders, and comparing to historical information. Confirmed elicitation results consist of the business analysis information obtained from completed elicitation activities. Confirmed elicitation results signify that the product team has reached a common understanding and agrees to the accuracy of the information elicited. Constraint. In business analysis, a constraint is a limit imposed on a solution. Context diagram. A visual depiction of the product scope showing a business system, process, equipment, computer system, etc., and how people and other systems, actors, interact with it. Control point. A designated event scheduled for the conclusion of a segment of work in order to evaluate progress against plans and the project charter and business case to determine if the project should be changed, terminated, or continued as planned. Examples of control points are stage gates or phase gates. The evaluation which occurs at the end of a sprint, iteration, or release can also be considered a control point. Cost-benefit analysis. A financial analysis tool used to determine the benefits provided by a portfolio component, program, or project against its costs. Cost-effectiveness feasibility. The high-level economic feasibility of a potential portfolio component, program, or project, taking into account both financial benefits and costs. Create and analyze models. The process of creating structured representations, such as diagrams, tables, or structured text, of any product information, to facilitate further analysis by identifying gaps in information or uncovering extraneous information. Creative thinking. The ability to resolve a problem or set of problems by exploring multiple and different solutions to arrive at an improved future result. Cross-functional team. A team where each team member can play more than one role. CRUD matrix. CRUD, defined as C, create, R, read, U, update, and D, delete, represents is the operations that can be applied to data or objects. CRUD matrices describe who or what has permission to perform each of the CRUD operations on elements, such as data or user interfaces. Cultural awareness. Being conscious of the cultural norms and values of others. Current state assessment. An understanding of the current mode of operations, or the as-is state of the organization. Customer. Internal or external stakeholders who benefit from the development of a solution. Data dictionary. A business analysis model that catalogs the attributes or specific data objects. Data flow diagram. A business analysis model that combines processes, systems, and data to show how data flows through a solution. Data model. A visual representation of the business data objects of interest to a business and the relationships between them. See also business data object. Data store. A source of business information, often represented visually on a data flow diagram. Day in the life testing, DITL. A semi-formal activity conducted by someone with in-depth business knowledge. The results obtained from DITL testing enable validation or evaluation of whether a solution provides the functionality for a typical day of usage by a role that interacts with the solution. Decision by consensus. An approach for making group decisions based upon general agreement for the decision by the group. Before making decisions by consensus, the group should first define what it means for it to reach general agreement. Among popular choices for consensus are convergence of individual decisions to one group decision or majority support for a decision with other individuals not seriously opposed to it. See also Delphi. Decision by sponsor. An approach for making decisions where the decision is made by the sponsor, with or without input from a group. See also autocratic decision making. Decision by weighted analysis. An approach for making decisions using decision criteria identified by and assigned relative weights by those involved in making the decision. Each option involved in the decision is rated by scoring how well the option meets the criteria independent of other options. Ratings are multiplied by the weights and summed to arrive at the score for each option. The summed scores represent the overall rankings of the options. Decision making. The ability to weigh the benefits and drawbacks associated with a set of options, choose among various options, and articulate the rationale for the choice. Decision table. A business analysis model that helps identify business rules associated with any complex branching logic in a solution by considering all combinations of choices. Decision tree. A business analysis model that shows business rules associated with any complex branching logic in a solution. Decomposition model. A model that is used to divide and subdivide a high-level concept into lower-level concepts, for example dividing the project scope and project deliverables into smaller, more manageable parts for the purpose of analysis. Also known as decomposition diagrams. DEEP. Describes the characteristics that a product backlog needs to demonstrate to be considered well-refined. DEEP is an acronym that stands for Detailed Appropriately, Estimated, Emergent, and Prioritized. Define acceptance criteria. The process of obtaining agreement as to what would constitute proof that one or more aspects of a solution have been developed successfully. Define and elaborate requirements. The process of refining and documenting requirements and other types of product information at the appropriate level of detail, format, and level of formality required for various audiences. Defining and aligning process group. The business analysis process is performed to investigate and evaluate the viability of initiating a new product or changes to or retirement of an existing product, as well as defining scope and aligning products, portfolios, programs, and projects to the overall organizational strategy. Definition of done, DOD. A series of conditions that the entire team agrees to complete before an item is considered sufficiently developed to be accepted by the business stakeholders. Definition of ready. A series of conditions that the entire team agrees to complete before a user story is considered sufficiently understood for work to begin to construct it. Deliverable. Any unique and verifiable product, result, or capability to perform a service that is required to be produced to complete a process, phase, or initiative. Delphi. A consensus-building method that consolidates anonymous input from subject matter experts, SMEs, using rounds of voting. See also wideband Delphi. Dependency. A logical relationship that exists between two or more entities. Dependency analysis. A technique that is used to discover dependent relationships. Design option. A representation of how a solution could be constructed. Design thinking. An approach that uses solution-based thinking rather than problem-based thinking to produce creative solutions to achieve goals. Desktop tool. A category of tools used in a personal workspace, for example on a laptop or on a personal device, for the purpose of aiding organization and productivity. Determine analysis approach. The process of thinking ahead about how analysis will be performed, including what will be analyzed, which models will be most beneficial to produce, and how requirements and other product information will be verified, validated, and prioritized. Determine elicitation approach. The process of thinking through how elicitation activities will be conducted, which stakeholders will be involved, which elicitation techniques may be used, and the order in which the elicitation activities will be best performed. Determine future state. The process of determining gaps in existing capabilities and a set of proposed changes necessary to attain a desired future state that addresses the problem or opportunity under analysis. Determine solution evaluation approach. The process of determining what aspects of the organization and/or solution will be evaluated, how performance will be measured, when performance will be measured, and by whom. Determine stakeholder engagement and communication approach. The process of developing appropriate methods to effectively engage and communicate with stakeholders throughout the product life cycle, based on the analysis of their needs, interests, and roles within the business analysis process. Determine traceability and monitoring approach. The process of considering how traceability will be performed on the portfolio, program, project, or product, and defining how requirement changes will be managed. Determine viable options and provide recommendation. The process of applying various analysis techniques to examine possible solutions for meeting the business goals and objectives and to determine which of the options is considered the best possible one for the organization to pursue. DevOps, development and operations. A concept or an organizational unit that promotes collaboration between development, quality control, and operations, IT and business operations. It supports rapidly releasing a solution by operationalizing it in small segments, each of which provides additional functionality to its users. Display action response model. A business analysis model that dissects a user interface mock-up into its display and behavior requirements at the page element level. Document analysis. An elicitation technique used to analyze existing documentation to identify relevant product information. Domain. A discipline or area of study. See also performance domain. Ecosystem map. a scope model that shows the relevant systems, the relationships between systems, and optionally any data objects passed between them. Elaboration. A term used on adaptive projects to describe the process of detailing product information over time. Elicitation. The activity of drawing out information from stakeholders and other sources,